What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I say everybody every time, like I got 1,000 damn people watching this shit. What's going on? Those of you who have already tuned into the live stream, it is me, Chavez, back with another Prizepicks Player Props live stream for you. Today is Tuesday, December 19th, not December 20th. I got the dates mixed up because doesn't matter why. Corrected it on the thumbnail, corrected it in the video description, and aside from the little mishap during the actual recording of the video where I said December 20th, I think we're all squared away. So hopefully you're not depending on me for calendar reasons, because I get a lot of dates wrong. So just throwing it out there. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope this finds you all doing well and in good spirits. I'm going to put the link to the free player prop Discord in the chat. I get a lot of questions. I already got one in the chat right now, but I get a lot of questions as to how you can join. The free player prop Discord link is in all my video descriptions, but I've been told from time to time that link doesn't pull up the Discord for some reason. On my end, when I try it out, it does. So I'm just going to throw it up in the chat every live stream, and click it if you want. If not, no big deal, no big deal. So today's live stream, we're talking NBA player props. I do have one NFL player prop that I have my eyes on. A couple, actually. One was taken off the board, but I still want to go over it in the event that it does get put back on the board. And then I have another one to share with you. So Thursday Night Football, a couple days away. There aren't a lot of plays up on the board. Also, Taco Tuesday, no demons, no goblins on the board right now. So I think all that is hinging on the tacos. We're going to get 5 tacos today from Prizepicks. Not saying they're all going to be good. I'm not saying they're all going to be fantastic. We all know how these tacos go. Sometimes they're spoiled tacos. Sometimes they're fantastic tacos, right? The kind of tacos that you go home and tell all your friends about, and maybe they're from a taco truck. Sometimes these tacos are dug out the garbage and thrown on a plate. So we'll see what they offer us. But I'm assuming at some point this morning we'll get more plays on the board, and we'll be able to look deeper into these plays. But I thought what we could do is go ahead and just recap the plays that we talked about in this morning's early video or last night's video. I talked about 3 plays that I liked. Unfortunately, one was removed, one was bumped. I mean, 7 hours ago. A lot happens in 7 hours. That's why I try to get that first video out early, because lines move. We know lines move. When I got people commenting like, oh, that play's taken off the board, or you need to do the video earlier. Like, or maybe you just need to subscribe to the channel so you get notifications of all my upcoming content and videos. And that way you're on the same page as me. So we'll go over those 3 plays that I talked about. I think they're all great plays. The one that's left on the board is still good play. And then we'll talk NFL player props. We'll talk NBA player props. I'm going to open this up to you. These live streams are not really for my benefit. Outside of just having fun, I really want to open this up and try to help people find value, help them with the research. And that way you're making better slips. So once again, as always, I hope this finds you doing well and in good spirits. I can't stress that enough, especially during the holiday season. For some reason, shit gets stressful during the holiday season. I feel like that's like the opposite, right? We should be in a better mood. We should be happier. At least from my view, people get really stressed out during the holiday season. It's kind of weird, but that's the truth of the matter. So hopefully you're not stressed out. Hopefully you're feeling good about a lot of things going on in your life right now. All right, let's move into the injury news for today. So at the time of my recording for the first video, there wasn't a whole lot of injury news. Honestly, there wasn't even an injury report available to go over. What's up, Deontay? I didn't see that comment at first. Sorry, man. What's going on? Good morning to you. Yeah, so injury news is a little lack right now. So we know that Victor Wembanyama is out. Draymond Green remains out. Bradley Beal remains out. Boy, that acquisition or trade, or I don't know exactly how he got to Phoenix. Was it a trade? But whatever it was, whatever brought him to Phoenix, just not working out, man. I mean, I'm sure this is not what they envisioned when they brought Bradley Beal over. I guess they envisioned some version of the big three. Although Bradley Beal is not the kind of guy I would like hitch my horses to. That's not the wagon I want to like ride on for sure. For some reason, the Suns thought that would be a good addition to, Durant and Book. So, the move for Harden in LA looks a lot better than this Beal move. Honestly, Harden's starting to like regain his form and looking real good in LA right now. But anyway, we know that he's out. Bradley Beal, Malik Beasley, Grayson Allen are in, and in questionable, we got Kristaps, Chris Paul, Najee Marshall, and Shaden Sharp. Shannon Sharp. Yeah, Shannon Sharp is questionable to play tonight. He's been questionable for like 10 years, right? He's been retired for like 10 years. John Morant is in. What's going on, Ollie? Welcome in, sir. Good morning to you. John Morant is in tonight. And so I wanted to talk about a few of his props. I'm going to pull up the Prizepicks app, the desktop app. Been using that over the actual site. Just easier to navigate. It's more just easier for me. But anyway, we'll pull up some John Morant props because I feel like some of these props are a little too high. And listening to the NBA tonight guys talk about his return last night, I was listening to them talk, and they were talking about how Udonis Haslem was talking about how Ja needs to understand that when he comes back, he's not just going to be the old Ja Morant. Like, he's not just going to jump into that. It takes time to get back into basketball shape. And it's something that he hasn't been doing since he's been off, right? He hasn't been playing ball. I mean, it's not the same NBA ball, pickup ball, like you can train on your own, but game environment is way different. So seeing some of these props the way they're propped, I think they're a little too high. This might be an opportunity to take an under on him, or he might come out and play 48 minutes and just, break the damn slate tonight. So we can take a look at some Ja Morant props as well, but injury news is as follows. So not a ton going on in the NBA, but do definitely keep your eyes open because I'm sure this will grow. That Q tag will grow, or the players confirmed out will also grow. So we'll move away from injury news and talk a little bit about our plays that we covered in the earlier video. As always, props.cash. I've been using them for a long time. Thanks 25 is my promo code if you want to take it out for a test drive. Use my promo code, save yourself some money. The way I look at it is if you decide that it's not for you, then you just cancel after the first month and you didn't pay full price for the first month. Not a bad deal, but I think you'll like it. Honestly, it's a lot better than guessing. It's a lot better than going with your gut. I tell you that shit. All right. So first play we talked about in yesterday's video was Yusuf Nurkic, 25.5 points and rebounds. This has been bumped up to 26.5. And I did say in my video, this would be bumped up because certain books had this at 27.5. You were getting it at a 25.5 line over on Prizepicks. So two below what you see on other books. Two below. Isn't that like a city in Mississippi? Two below Mississippi? I feel like I heard that somewhere. Maybe not. Maybe I'm making stuff up. Anyway, two below the line that you're seeing in other books. This one's been bumped up to 26.5. If you want to play it at 26.5, that's on you. I wanted to get this in early, and I hope you were able to see that earlier in the morning because this was a good line. The second play we talked about, Derek White, 8.5 rebounds and assists. This one is off the board. This one got swiped. I don't know when. I recorded my video. I uploaded the video to the channel a little after midnight. And at around 7:30 or so, I noticed this was not on the board anymore. So it's possible they bring this back at 9. And at 9, I think you can still play it, but it just offers a ton of push potential. So 8.5 was a great line to get this at if you were looking to take the over. Drew Holiday blocks and steals is still on the board. I was a little surprised that this one was still on the board, but it's still there. 1.5 blocks and steals. I like the over on this one. All these props I like the over on, by the way. So unfortunately, 2 of the 3 plays we talked about in the video have been bumped or removed. That's why I try to get this video out a little earlier. Hopefully you were able to catch some of this value on the board. But in today's live stream, we're trying to find additional value. So if you missed these plays, don't fret. I'm sure we'll find some good plays for you to add to your slips, and we'll break them down using props.cash. And by the end of this stream, hopefully your slips will be in a lot better position and you'll have a better feel for what's going on for today's slate. So those are our plays we talked about in the live stream. Let's get to this. We don't have a ton of questions. We don't have a ton of comments in the chat, but I'll kick things off. I'm going to kick things off with a with that Matthew. I would just let the cat out the bag. I wanted to talk about Matthew Stafford's touchdown prop over on both Prizepicks and Underdog. Now I just realized that I can't pull up the Prizepicks app as it's not a tab, so I have to actually pull up Prizepicks on the desktop. So while that's loading up, so Prizepicks had this at 1.5 and then they took it off the board, but it's still available on Underdog at a 1.5. The matchup isn't ideal. New Orleans defense is a pretty good defense. I mean, you know, they can get scored on, and Matthew Stafford is starting to feel like we're starting to see that old version of Matthew Stafford where he was passing for a high amount of yards per game and his weapons are healthy and intact. Got Kyron Williams back in the offense. We all know what Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua can do for that offense. So this is as healthy as this Rams offense is going to be all season. And so when I saw that 1.5 touchdown prop, look, they just removed the touchdown prop altogether. It's not even available anymore. So the only things we got for Matthew Stafford are his yards and interception. Now, I love the over on his touchdowns. It's still playable on Underdog. But I got to be honest with you. I really like the over on his interceptions as well, because the more comfortable a quarterback gets, the more they'll drop back the pass. And just like we talk about in the NBA, the more shots you take, more than likely the more shots you're going to miss. It's just the percentages. The more we get Matthew Stafford dropping back, the more opportunity he has to throw a pick. Now, he hasn't thrown an interception in 3 games, and I'm not too concerned about that. We're getting really good odds on this one as well. We'll look this up over on props.cash, but I just wanted to show you where that's sitting on Prizepicks. And as I pull this up on props.cash, loading everything up. So Matthew Stafford, 0.5 interceptions, or you can take the under on this one. I love these interception props, especially for guys who are going to throw the ball, especially for quarterbacks who have a lot of weapons, because they want to use those weapons. So anytime you have a quarterback in a position where they have 2 solid receivers, a solid, receiver tight end duel or tight end running back duel, whatever, they want to use those weapons. So they're going to drop back, and the more they drop back, the more opportunity there is to throw an interception. So let's pull up Matthew Stafford. We'll run through his yards as well. Like I mentioned, we should be getting more props on the board later today. I'm sure that everything's hinging on the tacos right now. But Matthew Stafford, line set to 52.5 over on props.cash, and it is also set to that line on Caesars. You're seeing his line all over the place. So DraftKings, BetMGM has this at 247, PointsBet 245. Man, you're getting it at a very low line over on FanDuel, 239.5. But on Prizepicks, it's at It's at 240. It's at 248.5 over on Prizepicks. So you're already getting it at a lower line when you compare it to the other books. Projections look solid. Projected to pass for over 256 yards. He's done this in 3 straight games. Hasn't cracked 300 yards in a while, though. So his yards are looking cool. If you wanted to roll with his yards, you could do that. He has the weapons in place to help him get over this line of 248 over on Prizepicks. But we were looking at his touchdown prop. So touchdowns were looking real good on Prizepicks. So minus 135 on the over. I mean, he's averaging well over 2 touchdowns over his last 5 games. Over his last 10, he's averaging 1.9. Over his last 5, he's averaging 2.6 touchdown passes. Maybe you're thinking that the New Orleans defense is not the defense you want to pick on. And we're not really picking on them. I mean, somebody has to score, right? I mean, just because you pick the over on Matthew Stafford's touchdowns doesn't mean he goes out and throws for 5. You're not saying that the New Orleans defense is all of a sudden going to collapse. You're just saying that Matthew Stafford's going to be in a good spot to go over. The books support that. The projections support that. I thought this was a good line to go with. You can still find it on Underdog. Also, his yards we talked about. But talk about his interceptions as well, because that's a line that's on the board. Now, he hasn't thrown an interception in 3 games. But the odds are slightly in favor of that over happening. And then we just take a look at these projections, finding where his interception. So projections are in favor of the under 0.5 interception. So again, if you want to take on the mindset of the theory, I guess, of he'll be passing more in this game, more opportunity to throw a pick, you take the over on this one. If you say, nah, he's been good with the ball, they're going to run the ball a little bit more with Kyren Williams today or this game because New Orleans defense is bottom of the league in defending rushing yards, then maybe you take the under on this one because he won't be in as many opportunities to throw an interception. But Matthew Stafford's lines were standing out to me. I just wanted to share that with you all. If you were looking for a play to add to a slip, or if you're looking to build out an NFL slip, I think we can start with Matthew Stafford's lines over on Prizepicks. All right. What else? Let's see. On the NFL board, this Thursday night football game, you're not going to find a ton right off the bat. I mean, we got some receiving yard props for Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua is up there as well. No Saints props. Rushing yards, there's an Alvin Kamara, Kyren Williams. Field goals made in this game, that might not be a terrible way to play it. Rushing and receiving yards for Kyren Williams is up as well, and then your pass rush touchdowns. I'm curious to see what these demons will be. If you haven't, I just realized I'm not sharing my tab. If you haven't played these demons and goblins over on Prizepicks, they're fun. Now, they're a lot riskier because they're well over the line. And so you're really hoping for a breakout game. My opinion is the highest upside demons will be touchdowns, especially for a high volume wide receiver like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I took the over touchdown for DK Metcalf and AJ Brown yesterday. It did not work out. But those are the types of receivers that you want to take the over on with some of these demons because they are the alpha in that offense, pretty much. Like DK Metcalf is the main guy. What's this quarterback's name in Seattle? I can't even remember. Drew Lock. Drew Lock's not targeting Tyler Lockett 50 yards down the field. He was targeting DK Metcalf because he's that threat. So when we get these demons pulled up on the Prizepicks board, and so far they've only been for the NFL. I'm not seeing any demons, goblins for the NBA. But once these get pulled on the board, like if we get a touchdown demon prop for Puka or Cooper Kupp, then maybe you say take the under on Matthew Stafford's interception and then take the over on whatever demon you have. Unfortunately, if you try to take the over on Matthew Stafford's passing yards and partner that up with a touchdown prop for one of his receivers, it's going to drop the payout because there's that correlation. And Prizepicks is starting to catch on to that, and they're not allowing you to build out basically, stacks anymore. They're cutting, at least I've seen them cut down on that. And so where a demon boost, might boost it by like 10x, if you try to correlate it to your advantage, it might drop it down. It may not be as high of an upside slip, but I'm anxious to see what some of these demons and goblins look like today for Thursday Night Football. I don't know if they'll ever drop demons and goblins for NBA. I think it's too easy. I mean, what would it be? Like Brandon Ingram's demon would be like 38 points or something like that. Nobody would touch that. But if you drop it too low, it's too easy to go over. So I think it's a little harder to create the demons for NBA. A little easier for the NFL. A little bit easier for Prizepicks to still feel like they are in control of that. I think if they did demons for the NBA, I think everybody would be making too much money off those. We'll see what they decide to do. There are no more demons. That's it, Genie. Okay, never mind. I thought there were more demons. Are you sure about that? I got an email from Prizepicks saying that the tacos would be able to be teamed up with the demons today. Maybe I missed something. I'm just going to look at my email real quick because those demons were really fun. Let's see. Nope. Well, that field goal promo yesterday did not work out for us. I played one field goal prop. It was a second half Elliott field goal prop. They didn't kick a field goal. I was hopeful at the end of that game they would get it down in the field goal range and he'd kick it. So I'd get the over on that one. But that game altogether was kind of an ugly game, to be honest with you. Didn't realize that the Seahawks were 0 for 3, 0 for 7, something weird like that. They have a losing record versus the Seattle Seahawks. I did not realize the Eagles were playing that poorly against the Seahawks, but they are. Genie, yeah, there's no demons on the board right now, but I thought you meant as in no more demons, as in they're ending that. I swear I saw an email from Prizepicks this morning saying that we're getting 5 tacos today, and then that we can team up those tacos with demons for today's slips. I can't find it now. Obviously now I can't find it. Of course, when I want to read it. So anyway, we'll just wait and see. But I hope they do bring those demons back, or hope they don't dismiss them too quickly. Those are really fun. Those are fun. All right. So we talked a little bit about Matthew Stafford. We talked a little bit about some correlation with his receivers. While we're on Prizepicks, I mentioned earlier John Morant. Now, he's making his season debut. He's been out for a long time. He hasn't just been out for 25 games this season. He's been out for the summer, last season, the end of the season he was out. I mean, he's been out for a long time. I'm sure he's kept himself in good condition. However, basketball shape and just being in good shape are not the same thing. Taking a look at some of his lines. So I don't know about these. So 24.5 points for John Morant. I'm curious what his 5-game like. So his last game played was April 28th. So he's making his season debut on December 19th. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 9 months, little less than 9 months away from the game. That's a long time. It's like coming back from an injury. So they got his line set to 24.5. I don't know what the movement is on this. I honestly am not interested in taking overs on John Morant. I'm probably not going to play any of his plays, but I just thought, man, they're really opening his lines up at a really high point. So minus 108 on the over on his points, minus 105 on the under, projected for 23.6. I don't know what to think about this. I'm probably going to stay away from it. His PRA is set to 37.5. Props.cash has it at 37.5. PointsBet has it at 37.5. But it looks like all the other books have this at 36.5, which is what you'll find over on Prizepicks, 36.5. When he left the game, he was averaging 34 minutes a game. I was just trying to think what his minutes are going to be like. I can't find any reports on his minutes right now. It just was announced on DK Live that John Morant will make season debut on Tuesday. It does state that this is probably just like a game where he just gets into game shape, gets used to the speed of the game. I don't think his usage rate will return immediately to that 35% that we were seeing. I know at some point Desmond Bane's usage rate will drop a little bit. I don't think tonight's the night to take unders on Desmond Bane just based on the fact that Morant is back. I think after a few games, yes. But I'm just iffy on this. John Morant, if he comes out and plays 30 minutes in tonight's game, I mean, what is his shot going to look like? I don't know. I'm just curious. What do y'all think about this? If you had your eye on this, if you think this is too low, you're like 36.5 is a great value for this dude. I'm personally going to stay away from this. I will be so pissed off if Prizepicks makes this a damn if they make this a damn taco. These lines could be so inflated right now that they'll make it a taco and they'll bring it back down to where it's supposed to be, and then everyone's like, gotta jump on that. Just like they did with Jokic over the weekend. That was dirty. Those Jokic promos were actually, he went over his assist, right? He went over his assist. He went over his points. I know he didn't go over his rebounds. And I don't know if he went over his PRA in that game. I think it was set to 46.5, dropped down from 50. But those were just not good. They were a little disappointing. And that's why they rebooted it. Prizepicks did the right thing. So I'm glad they rebooted his rebounds. All right, let's see. Anish, what's going on? Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. Aton over 13.5 points and assist. Yeah, DeAndre Ayton is the kind of player I feel that gets up for these types of games. He did not leave Phoenix on a good note. I'm sure he's not sending that organization Christmas cards and elves on the shelves and shit like that. So I think I definitely think that narrative is true for certain players. I think Ayton is one of those players where put a little bit more energy into games like this versus his old team. I got rebounds and assists. John Morant against the Pels went over his points only, not anything else. Okay, so yeah, Anish said that Jokic went over points only. Those were just terrible, man. Slap a Santa hat on somebody and call it a promo, and then everybody gets all excited. Like, oh, I was excited. I was like, damn, his rebounds are at 10.5. I mean, I didn't feel his original lines were that inflated. Like his rebounds at 13, I feel like that's what he does. To get it at around 10, I think was a good line. I took his rebounds. I didn't like anything else. But again, Prizepicks did the right thing with refunding his rebounds. I think just a swing and a miss on that one. Just a swing and a miss. If you are a conspiracy theorist and believe that Prizepicks is just like this manipulative corporation that takes all of our money and, things like that, then you hate those kind of promos because as soon as you see them, you're like, scam. They're just trying to like pad the pocket a little bit. They're scamming us. They're doing the people wrong. If you're a little bit more open to those types of things, you do your research, you dig into it a little bit and say, okay, I'm playing this also because this isn't a good spot, not just because it got dropped, but also because the data supports it. You're still pissed off when those promos don't hit, but you know, you would probably play it again. Like if they dropped another promo for Jokic, you'd probably be like, that's a good spot. I mean, sometimes they don't hit. There are weeks where these tacos are like sweeping the board, right? There are weeks where we get really good plays, and there are weeks where we don't get plays. I think we can write certain players off in that taco category. Trae Young, Jalen Brunson, those two names headline the spoiled taco list. For me personally, can't seem to get those dudes right on those days. So Anish said DeAndre Ayton rebounds and assists. I'm just going to pull up all his lines on prop. Oh, shit. They pulled off Ayton. You got it on Ayton. Anish, you got Ayton on Prizepicks? If you got it on Prizepicks, they pulled it off the board, so you got a good, I'm assuming you got a good deal. Injury news. This is why it's important to pay attention to some of this injury news. You can get a jump on some of these lines. If you are waiting for somebody to be ruled out, you're too late, if that makes sense. If you're waiting on somebody to be ruled out before you jump on a player prop, you're too late. You need to be a little faster. And when you see a player's name on the questionable list, not doubtful, because that's basically out. But on the questionable list, you do a little digging into the team, maybe follow that beat writer for that team. This person is listed as questionable, but it's highly unlikely they play. Yet some of these player props for his teammates are way too low when you factor in that the usage rate will go up once this person's ruled out. Like, you got to be a little quicker on that. If you can get a jump on some of those plays, your slips are going to look real good. I don't see any news for Portland outside of Shaedon Sharpe being questionable. If Shaedon Sharpe all of a sudden got ruled out or got moved down to doubtful, then maybe that shakes things up in Portland. Maybe Ayton is off the board. But yeah, sometimes you have to move real fast on these player props. Just keep in mind, Prizepicks is not here to help you build slips. They're not here to guide you down the cleanest path with the least resistance. That's not their job. They're just throwing lines on the board. That's all they're doing. It's our job to figure out why this is a good play or why it's not a good play. That's why you have to research. You have to do a little digging. You have to do it. So yeah, Ayton's not on the board. Anish, you must have got it on another format, or if you got it on Prizepicks, good on you, because they took that away. You said also John Morant on his rebounds and assists. Where are you, Ja? Points and assists. Oh my God. So we got his points, we got his points and assists, we got his PRA, and we got his rebounds. His rebounds might be in a good spot to go over. Like, if his shot's not falling and he's just trying to like get back up into, the flow of things, and he's just trying to contribute on all, like on both ends of the court, he's not a lazy player, right? I mean, he's going to hustle. So I don't think we have to worry about that. Rebounds might be a line to attack because, if you just want to contribute and help the team win, as you round back in the game shape, I mean, we could maybe find some value in some of these other lines outside of his points. His rebounds might not be a terrible a terrible way to go. Pull up his rebounds here. Minus 125 odds on the over, plus 104 on the under, projected for 6.5 rebounds. I'm not saying this is a lock by any means. All I'm saying is that Ja's already a pretty good rebounding guard. We're getting positive odds. We're getting good projections. Matchup is decent. And again, I personally don't expect him to come into today's game and just light it up from the field. So I would think that a player wants to just be active on the floor, and that's everything, diving on the floor for loose balls, hustle stats, steals, blocks, rebounds. So maybe you look at Ja Morant's rebounds for tonight's game against the Pelicans. Yeah, Terrence, what's going on? Welcome in, Terrence. Jamarcus, welcome in. Good morning to you both. Jeannie said, Drew Holiday blocks and steals. Yeah, I talked about Drew Holiday in this morning's video. I don't know if you caught that, but Drew Holiday blocks and steals, very good spot. I am a little surprised that it's still on the board at 1.5. I mean, 5 games looks strong. We went over his 5 games and 10 games in the video, but I'll pull that up real quick. Minus 133 on the over, plus 100 on the under. Projected for 1.8 blocks and steals, closer to 2 than it is to 1.5 and 1. 70% hit rate over his last 10, 80% hit rate over his last 5. Head-to-head matchup with the Golden State Warriors. None to speak of this season as a Celtic, but last season, his last game, played against the Warriors. He did tally up 2 blocks and steals. So I also mentioned that slight pace-up game for the Celtics. The Warriors are not playing at breakneck speeds like we're accustomed to seeing them play. But they are playing at a faster pace than the Celtics. So a slight tick in pace for the Celtics, and talked about as the pace goes, so those opportunities to turn the ball over, take more shots, block steals, all that kind of thing. All that correlates with the pace of the game. So I think Drew Holiday's in a good spot for this line. He's one of the plays that I put in. I made a 3-pick flex, and I made a couple of powers with Drew and Nurkic, and then Derek White and Nurkic, just kind of like playing it in different combos. But yeah, Drew Holiday's in a good spot. Let's see. I'm just headed back over to the chat real quick. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Let's see. Ja Morant, 24.5. You got him going for 30 tonight. All right. Listen, I hope he goes for 30. I have nothing against Ja Morant. When he's on top of his game, he makes the NBA a much more exciting product. The NBA misses him. The NBA misses him and Zion dominating. I mean, we've gotten a very small sample size of both of those dudes leading their teams, dominating the league. That's what the NBA envisioned when those guys were drafted. And the NBA is a much better product when your top draft picks are playing like top draft picks, when they're playing like faces of the franchise. When Ja Morant gets ruled out for half a season, it does the NBA no favors. And I'm sure they lose a shit ton of money in terms of endorsements, but product sales, like all the team apparel stuff, like goes down. That's all bottom line too, man. That's all this is about is, NBA is trying to make money out there. And Ja Morant sitting on the shelf is not helping them do that. So I hope he drops 30. Let's see. Posture Fixture, what's going on? Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Is Ja on a minutes restriction, if not like over? I don't know. We were just trying to dig into that. The only thing that I'm pulling up is on DK Live. I'm not going to read this whole paragraph, but it just says Ja Morant has been able to practice with the team, so the adjustment period shouldn't take too long. It's probably more about getting into game shape and getting used to the speed of the game. So it doesn't say anything about minutes restriction, but I think his first game back, I think he's just I think he wants to be active. I think he wants to be like involved. I don't see him just standing around. So when I think of somebody engaged and involved with the game, they're just trying to contribute. And that can look like rebounds, that can look like assists, that can look like block shot steals, taking charges, stuff like that. So I still think his 4.5 rebounds isn't a good spot. I mean, unless we get news that he's playing like 20 minutes tonight, I think we should see his minutes, maybe 25 or more. 30 maybe? I don't know. We'll see. They're not the Grizzlies are not releasing any information close to the vest with that Ja information. So all right, let's see. Let's scroll down. We're getting some questions in. We're getting some player requests in. Keenan, what's going on? Welcome in. All right, so Devin Vassell under 3.5 rebounds, or excuse me, 3.5 assists. Saric rebounds. Celtics give up rebounds to power forward as well. D-Book assist. Yeah, Gene wasn't injured, but we talk about game speed, game shape. Maybe a couple games they're just a little cautious with not throwing too much on his plate. That's kind of where I was going with that. Maybe they treat it like a player coming back from injury where they're just going to be a little bit more cautious, but I don't think it'll take too long for Ja Morant to get back on track. All right, so let's start. Devin Vassell, under assist. Saric rebounds. D-Book assist. All right, let's do it. We're starting to get these questions in. Let's start. I already have Golden State and Boston pulled up. Let's go and find Dario Saric. Apparently, he is not. Apparently, he doesn't exist on props.cash. Got to refresh this page. Thank y'all for stopping in. Thank y'all for chilling out with me in this morning talking some player props. Appreciate y'all being here. Hit that like button on your way in. That means a ton. Appreciate y'all. All right, let's pull up Boston and Golden State. Where the fuck is Sarge? Not all the players are listed right now for this game, which is a little odd. I'm not sure why. I'll come back to it and see if they updated, but for now, Sarge is not pulling up for that game. Let's look at Devin Vassell assist sitting at 3.5. Slight juice to the under, not a ton, but slight. Projected for 3.41 assists. That's closer to 3. Back-to-back games of hitting 3. 2 games out of his last 5, 3 out of his last. So 10 games look worse than his 5 games. Over his last 10, he has a 30% hit rate. Over his last 5, he has a 40% hit rate. I mean, 40% isn't good. Better than 30. Head-to-head matchup. No head-to-head matchups this season versus the Milwaukee Bucks. That's what he did last year. Milwaukee currently a little worse than league average in allowing in defending the assists, giving up 27 per game. This one is just kind of a coin flip. I mean, I think you have enough data there to take the under on it for sure. Feel good about it. Anything else standing out for Devin Vassell? Points set to his his points have not been on point. So right now I'm seeing 20.5. Kind of a coin flip on this one, but man, that game log looks a little ugly. First date ugly. Rebounds. Let's do this real quick. We'll go back to Devin Vassell because I just want to see if the Prizepicks lines are matching what we're seeing on Props.Cash. So Props.Cash has his points to 20.5. You're getting it at even 20 on Prizepicks. Assists right here. So if you wanted to go under on that one. And then, yeah, let's scroll through this. PRA set to 28.5 over on Props.Cash, getting his PRA at 27.5 on Prizepicks, so 1 point lower. Doesn't change anything with his 10 games or 5 games because he's still going under that line. I mean, this could be a game where you take the under on a few different Spurs. Keep in mind, Victor Wembanyama is ruled out today, so I don't know what usage rate. Well, I don't know what the usage rates look like for his teammates. We want to take Victor out of the lineup and see what this looks like for Devin Vassell. In terms of PRA, doesn't really change a whole lot. In terms of his points with Victor out, doesn't change a whole lot. And in terms of his assist, changes a little bit. So without Victor in the game, I keep calling him Victor. Like, we're on a first name basis now. I don't know this dude like that. Without Wemby in the game, Vassell has gone over 2, 4, 6 games out of 10 games. Now, this is actually not accurate because this is factoring in last year. So let's go down to 5. So you can see this is the only game he's played without Victor Wembanyama. These other games were played last season. So disregard this game log because it's not accurate. So I was going to say, wow, his usage goes up when Victor's not in the game. There, I just said it again. When Wemby's not in the game. But it really doesn't because we don't really have a huge sample. So we don't have any sample size. So if you're looking to take the under on his assist, I think you have enough information there to roll with that. All right. Devin Booker. What do we have for Devin Booker? Let's see. Assist for Devin Booker. Where are you at? I want to see his car collection. I feel like anytime they show him entering the building, he's in a different lowrider. Shit's dope. I like that. I don't think he's on that Jay Leno level yet, but he might be trying to get there. I didn't know he was a car enthusiast, but he's got some nice rides. Looking at his assists at 8.5 over on Props.Cash. Devin Booker on Prizepicks is set at 8. So we're already getting it at a smaller line. Now, it's possible this was set to 7.5 and got bumped up to 8. So you're still getting it at a lower line, but not the best line. So yeah, it definitely opened at 7.5. This is what all the books have it. Maybe if enough people play the under on this one, it'll drop down to 7.5, and then you can get it a nice line and take the over on it. But currently at 8, we'll bring this down to reflect. Over his last 5 games, he's hit this in 2, pushed in 1, under in 2. Over his last 10 games, this looks a little worse because there's a nice cluster of games where he did not touch 8. So, yeah, this game log doesn't look great. Matchup is fantastic. Overall, Portland's not a great team, but they are defending the assists very well. Very well. Better than expected. Maybe that's the better words to use there. They're defending the assists better than expected based on their current team. Yeah. 16th in the league in assists allowed at 26.4 per game. There's probably better assist lines out there, to be honest with you. But if you I mean, feel like Devin Booker can get you 9 today. I know Bradley Beal's not in the lineup, but damn, he's never in the lineup. So like this is the sample size without Bradley Beal in the lineup. That dude never plays. Where is Bradley Beal? He's never here. He's never in the damn building. Looking like a damn cholo on the bench in his flannels and beanies and shit. Yeah, so if you want to roll with the over on Devin Booker's assist at 8, he needs 9. Doesn't need 8, he needs 9. I like this better at 7.5 because if this were to drop back down to 7, or if it were just to get moved to 7.5, he gets closer to 8 in most games than he does to 9. So let's look at his other lines. So 28.5 points for Devin Booker right now over on props.cash. You're getting it at the same line over on Prizepicks. So not a whole lot of discount there. The other line you can look at is points and rebounds. Slightly better odds in favor of the over. But these lines are set pretty tight for Devin Booker today. Turnovers. Blocks and steals is also another one. Yeah, this is not on Prizepicks. If it were on Prizepicks, that would be already on in my slip. Steals and blocks. This is on Prizepicks at 1.5. You're getting minus 137 odds for the under on this one. So, I mean, if you wanted to roll the dice on an under for Devin Booker, you could. But I feel like we're forcing stuff right now with his lines because they're set so tight to the books. So, again, assists at 8. If you want to roll with the over on that one, you are getting it at a slightly lower line than what the other books have it. But these odds are just kind of like a coin flip, to be honest. So, all right, what else we got? I'm going to head over back to the chat. All right, let's see. Stefan? It's not Steven, right? Stefan? Welcome in, Stephen Creighton. You take Ja over PRA, you might as well just hand your money over now. See, that's what I was also conflicted on. It's really about his minutes, man. Like, if you feel like he's going to get full run right out the gate, then his PRA is in play because he's going to handle the ball. But if he's restricted in any way, shape, or form, it's just going to hinder his upside. So again, I'm personally the only prop I'm looking at with serious consideration is his rebound prop. But that's a good point. Like his PRA, I think it's a little high. So let's see. Mike Woods, welcome in. Take Wemby out and see what Vassell does. We did, Mike. There's not a sample size. There's one game because Vassell missed some time too. So there was one game played back on December 1st. That was the only thing showing up on props.cash. The other games that we saw when you took Wemby out were from last season. Different team, different dynamic, different players. So let's see here. Keenan, let's see. Wave Lord, Vassell turnovers, his usage goes up 100%. Without Wemby in the lineup, that's a good point. We could take a look at Vassell's turnovers. We like to target turnovers from for players who have high usage. So like that's why I looked at Devin Booker's turnovers, and that shit's at minus 150 for the over. You're not going to find that on Prizepicks, but for players who handle the ball a lot, turnovers go up. Jason Tatum is good for turnovers. Jaylen Brown, I don't know, man. He has like no nerves in his left hand or something like that. He just can't like feel the ball. He's just always kicking it out of bounds. You have to pay attention to some of these games, and you find some nice little value on the turnovers. But anytime you get an injury like Wemby, a player who demands so much, so much usage in the game, whoever is going to be stepping up, I mean, turnovers will probably be a part of that, that game as well. So let's see here. I'm just trying to scroll up and trying to catch up. Beal's not playing tonight, Jeannie. KD, I didn't see him on the injury report at all, so I'm assuming he plays. We could take a look at CJ McCollum's points and assists, Deontay. Let's see. Zach Collins under. Beal's ankle took a hell of a roll the other night. Yeah, that was nasty. That was ugly. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not an NBA player by any means. However, I would roll my ankle anytime I try to like run uphill or do any sort of like high intensity exercise. I would roll that shit to where it felt like that. It felt like the bottom of my foot was touching the pavement, and it felt like all the weight was just there. I couldn't believe that like certain times I would roll my ankle. I couldn't believe that it was still attached to my leg. It hurt so bad. And that's just a normal dude doing normal stuff. So these guys are playing on a different level. So those injuries take a toll on you, no doubt. I do not think Beal's playing for. He might be out for the rest of the month, to be honest with you. I mean, it's already late December. He might be out for the rest of the month. So Zach under, no Wemby tonight. Jeannie thinks that's crazy, taking the under on Zach Collins. But Posture thinks that's a good play because Jonas is a beast and Brook Lopez. I mean, that paint is kind of clogged up with the bigs, right? I get both logic. We can take a look at it if you want to take a look at Zach Collins to kind of see what we got going on there. What's going on, Steven? Nerd affiliated. McCollum. All right, we'll look up McCollum. Mike Woods. Yeah, Ja's been allowed to practice with the team. Okay, so he's been practicing with the team. We'll see. I'm not going to touch his PRA. I think his rebounds are in play for sure. But if he goes over his lines tonight, he goes over. I don't have any ill will against that dude. So I kind of want him to come out and just crush. We'll see what happens, though. All right. Let's do this. We're going to head back over to props.cash. And we're getting a lot of, with only 4 games on the bill, we're kind of all looking at the same matchups, right? So Jonas, take a look at Jonas. Points. Odds aren't all that great, but his numbers are. Rebounds. This is interesting. So I love basketball. I love digging into the stats, but I don't know the game like other people know the game. So sometimes I miss certain things. I'm learning. So when I look at Jonas's rebounding line at 11.5, and I see the odds are in favor of the under, is this because Jaren Jackson is going to pull him away from the rim and he's not in the paint to grab boards? He's not in position to grab boards because his rebounds over the last 5 games have been on point. So the matchup, is this based off matchup versus ability, right? Sometimes a player just isn't capable of grabbing 10, 12 rebounds, and sometimes the matchup is going to work against them. Because when you look at Memphis's defense, they're allowing a shit ton of rebounds per game, but we're getting odds that don't reflect that. So if you know the game like that, let me know in the comment section, because that's kind of the only thing that makes sense to me why his rebounds are not favored for the over here. Assist, well under his assist line. PRA, slight juice to the over. I got to start getting rid of some of these dudes. Let's get rid of Stafford. Get out of there. Get the hell out of there, Stafford. Lines are pretty tight. Same thing we're seeing on props.cash. You're not getting any value on these. PRA, 28.5, slight juice to the over. Points and assists, points and rebounds, 3-pointers made. This is risky. Hey, listen, if you want to play a Jonas line, I'm not saying you have to play this. Don't come back and say, you told me to play Jonas's 3-pointer and he missed all of them. I didn't say that. What I am saying is that this is available for you on Prizepicks. This line is getting huge juice to the over at minus 135. He has been knocking down threes. For a big man, he has been knocking down threes over his last 5 games. He has 5 threes in 5 games. He has 7 threes in his last 10 games. It's the best odds we have for any of his lines right now. So maybe you were on that one, maybe you weren't. It's on the radar now. So there's a solid value for Jonas right here. And that's about it. Not seeing a ton of other discrepancies. Points and assists, we already went over that. Points and rebounds. Rebounds and assists. Did I show that? Rebounds and assists. Slight juice to the over here. But this correlates with his rebounds, right? So again, the matchup doesn't match what the matchup doesn't match what the odds are saying. Odds are saying under, slight under. Matchup is saying great matchup, take the over. I would take the over based off the matchup alone. Then we take a look at his rebounds and assists, and you're seeing slightly different odds. So anyway, Jonas is there. I don't believe any of this will move today. I think these are pretty solid lines. All right. McCollum. McCollum has been on a heater. Big time. Kind of a coin flip with his numbers here. So I'm just gonna pull up CJ. 18.5 points, 27.5 PRA, 23 points and assists, and 0.5 block shots. So 18.5 points, nothing changes. Still the same. Coin flip in terms of the odds. Matchup is all right. Good matchup. We know that. Foul trouble. Is he guarding Ja tonight? Does Ja get him in foul trouble or anything like that? Is that something to factor in when taking his overs because of Ja being back? Does Ja have that big of an impact on the game? Rebounds look good. I cannot get his rebounds right. They're always in good spots to hit. They're always favorable odds. I always pick it on these days. These are the days I pick it. These are the days where I pick it and it goes under. So it's not available to you on Prizepicks, but it is getting pretty good juice on the over. His assists look fine. PRA. Again, these lines are set super tight. Anytime you get like 4 or 5 games on a slate, it is so easy for the books to just have everything in control because there's not that much to monitor on 5 games. So it's very rare that you see huge line discrepancies. So you're not going to find a ton of value with CJ McCollum, unfortunately. Yeah. 3-pointers aren't available on Prizepicks. Block shot under that. Although this looks great, you're getting odds in favor of the under. This one is available to you on Prizepicks. So there's CJ. Zach Collins. So we had conflicting logics here. We get one side that says Zach Collins in a prime spot because Wemby's out. We have the other side saying you're crazy because Jonas and Lopez are gonna create enough resistance to keep Zach Collins under control. So this is Zach Collins' game log over his last 10 games with Wemby in. Let's take Wemby out. Let's see what this looks like. So again, the question earlier was take Wemby out. What does Vassell's game log look like? Well, everything from here over is last year. And you can look at that and say, yeah, Zach Collins crushes it when Wemby's not in the lineup. But it's not that Wemby wasn't in the lineup. He wasn't in the league. Different team. So, I mean, you can look at that and say, yeah, minus Wemby, Zach goes off. But this is the game that we have for sure, concrete data this season. He scored 12 points. Last game, Wembanyama was not in the lineup. Rebounds, he grabbed 5. Now, this is getting – so books are kind of seeing this the way in the view of no Wemby, extra usage for Zach Collins. Minus 135 on his rebounds. Let's pull up Zach Collins. Something got pulled off the board. I just got a notification from Prizepicks saying projections have changed. So who's left? We got Ja, Vassell, Devin Booker. I don't know who was on that board. I can't remember, but they got pulled off. So Zach Collins rebounds are not available for you on Prizepicks. Those odds are too damn good. So if you really want to play his rebounds, the next best option are his rebounds and assists. Set to 10.5. Minus 115 on the under, minus 110 on the over. Points and rebounds. Similar numbers. And then PRA. Blocks and steals. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to, it's hard to look at this because we don't have a sample size with Wemby out. A sample size this season with Wemby out. So you're not going to get a ton of information on this, but his points are a coin flip right now. Again, on Prizepicks, they're at 12.5. Minus 113 to both sides. This is a pick'em. This has got like a 51% chance to go over, 50% chance to go under, or vice versa. If you wanted to roll the dice on his points based on the fact that his usage will increase without Wemby, we assume, then that's in play. His rebounds look phenomenal. Just not going to find them on Prizepicks. If you really want to play his rebounds, if you really feel like he can get you 7-8 rebounds today, I mean, that's 80% of his line here. And his assist, he gets you 2 assists, gets you 8 rebounds. That's not going to be enough. He gets you 3 assists plus 8 rebounds. That will be enough to go over. So figure it out, the math, how you want to look at this. But Zach Collins his numbers aren't like popping off the chart right now. All right, let's see. I'm rolling back to the chat real quick. Now these questions are coming in. Now these questions are starting to come in. Let's see. McCollum, PA, went over that. Jeremy Grant points. We'll look up Jeremy Grant. Klay Thompson, who has been on a heater. What up, Nate? And also, what's up, Nate? That's your name. Should peep out Jaylen Brown turnovers for under. Seems like a steal to me. Pun intended. Nice. Well played. All right. Jaylen Brown ain't got no left hand go over his turnovers. Oh, man. He had that hand injury in the playoffs last season. And anytime he tried to go left, he would just fumble the ball. And I think they made a point about that in the telecast. I don't know if it was Doris Burke, but somebody made that a point of conversation that when he goes this way, this is what happens. And I just watched that the entire playoffs, and he was just not 100%. Now, I don't know if that lingered into this year, but being a Celtics fan, I try to watch as many games as possible. And I can't tell you how many times the ball bounces off his foot or some shit like that. So Jaylen Brown turnovers is a real thing. All right, so we got Klay Thompson. I'm just trying to add up these names. So when we head back over to props.cash, we'll have some names. Jeremy Grant, Klay Thompson, that's who it was. Jeremy Grant, Klay Thompson, Jaylen Brown, Darrell, what's going on, man? Welcome in. You back, thank God. Thank God. Thank God every morning. For sure, man. Welcome back. Thank you. Valachunas got pulled. Oh, okay. That's who it was. Okay. Malachi Branham, Klay Thompson, Jeremy Grant. They took Jonas's 3-point made. Son of a bitch. That was I think it's a good sign when a play gets pulled, and we were talking about it in terms of it being a good play, because that means we're on the right track. We don't ever want to lose out on a value play like that, but it does give you confidence that, hey, I was on to something with that one. So good on us. I think Ja's gonna have a taco too. I think so too. I think his lines are a little juiced up. I think his PR is a little juiced up tonight. I think we're going to see it drop down to like 30, 31, 32, some shit like that. All right. We got enough plays. We're heading back over to props.cash. Vassell turnovers. I don't know who it was. They mentioned usage goes up without Wemby. Turnovers. All right. His turnovers are only set to 1.5. Slight juice on the under. Projections are in favor of the over at 1.63. When you see the decimal, obviously it's impossible for a player to get point anything. They can't get 0.2 rebounds, 0.3 assists. But that decimal is just a round up, right? So when I see this, I say this is closer to 2 than it is to 1. It's definitely over 0.5. And that's how I read that. But yeah, it's impossible to get 0.63 turnovers. Back-to-back games with fewer than 2 turnovers. However, over his last 10 games, he's averaging 1.4 turnovers in those games. He has upside of 3 turnovers in those games. Now, again, no sample size without Wemby to really dig into. Aha! That's beautiful. 1.5 turnovers is his line. And in his last game, his only game without Victor Wembanyama, Vassell turned the ball over 3 times. Without Victor in the game, I'm just going to keep calling him Victor. I can't not call him Victor. For some reason, it's in my blood to call that man by his first name. Only played 27 minutes in that game versus New Orleans. Only took 12 field goal attempts. Made 5 of them. Free throws were non-existent. I'm looking at fouls. Was not in foul trouble. So it looks like his minutes were just Popovich being Popovich, just giving everybody like 20 minutes a game. But he did turn the ball over 3 times without Victor Wembanyama in the lineup. So, if you want to go with that one, is it even on the board? It is. So, did we just stumble upon a value, even though the odds do not show in favor of the over? Did we just stumble upon a value based off Victor Wembanyama not being in a lineup, increasing the usage rate for Devin Vassell, increasing his turnover upside? Maybe, but that was a good call. That was a good call in the chat. All right. Klay Thompson, Golden State Warriors taking on the Boston Celtics. Klay Thompson. And we'll look up Jaylen Brown also. Points, we'll run through it. Coin flip on his points. No heavy juice on any side, but geez, man, look at this. 30, 24, 28. Rebounds are kind of meh. Assist, heavy juice on the under. I don't think we'll see that one on Prizepicks. Klay Thompson PRA 26.5 over on Prizepicks, or excuse me, over on props.cash. What numbers we have on Prizepicks for Klay are these: 19 points, 0.5 steals, 1.5 turnovers. That's all we got. 19 points, 0.5 steals, 1.5 turnovers. So 19 points on Prizepicks. This is set to 19.5 on props.cash. You are getting at a lower line, but it did get bumped from 18.5 to 19. Very rarely do you see lines open up at 0.0. So I'm assuming this one was at 18.5 and got bumped up to 19, but it's still in play based off the line discrepancy there. Turnovers for Klay Thompson. There you go. There you go. There's another turnover prop in favor of the over. Been keeping it nice and clean over the last 4 games, but he is up there on some games, 3-4 turnovers. So he is taking on the Boston Celtics, who are a tough defensive matchup. Drew Holiday, does Drew Holiday get in his grip? Hey, man, do you want to play Drew Holiday over points or over blocks and steals and Klay Thompson over turnovers in the same lineup? Do you have the cajones to play both of those in a correlated slip? You could try that. I mean, they're playing against each other, so it is a option. But turnovers are there for you if you think that's a good play. And then his steals. Let's see. Possible. He picks up a steal. So Klay Thompson right there. We did Devin Vassell turnovers. Jeremy Grant. I didn't forget about Jeremy Grant. Shaedon Sharpe is questionable for the Trailblazers. I don't see anything updated right now in terms of being out. No. So again, Wemby is out. Draymond Green is out. Bradley Beal is out. Malik Beasley probable. Grayson Allen probable. Chris Stapps, Chris Paul, Najee Marshall, Shaedon Sharpe, all questionable. Nothing's changed. Jeremy Grant points sitting at 105 on the over, 102 on the under. Here are Jeremy Grant's lines: 22.5 points, 29 PRA, 29.5 PRA, 27.5 points and rebounds, 24.5 points and assists, 7.5 rebounds and assists. Let's run through them all. Points. Matchup isn't the best. Head-to-head, though, versus the Suns this season, 1 game, 1 over. Over his last 10, he's hit this in 60%. Over his last 5, 60%. Head-to-head, 50%. So rebounds, not on the board for Prizepicks, but incredible odds in favor of the over here. PRA was on Prizepicks. Set to 30.5 over on Prizepicks, or excuse me, over on props.cash. It is 29.5 on Prizepicks. This is even money for the most part. With that line drop, you're going to get the odds shifting in favor of the over slightly. So that's a positive. Projections are based off these odds. These odds are incorrect based off the line discrepancy. So the projections are incorrect. So I'm not putting too much stock into these. But this is what Jeremy Grant has done over his last 5 games: 3 over, 2 under, averaging almost 40 PRA in those 3 games. Rebounds and assists set to 7.5. Jeremy Grant is a scorer. For a big man, he doesn't pull down a ton of boards. I guess when you have DeAndre Ayton there, you don't really need to. So Jeremy Grant's points look fine based off those odds. His PRA is probably your best value because of the line discrepancy, points and rebounds, and then points and assists. So points and rebounds set to 27.5 over on Prizepicks. You're getting it for the same line here. This is his 5 games right here. And then his points and assists. Even again. Listen, when he goes over PRA, he goes over PR, he goes over PA. Does he go over points in every one of those games as well? Yes, he does. So it's a package deal with Jeremy Grant. So there you have it for Jeremy Grant. Those are his lines. Those are his breakdowns. I didn't forget about Jaylen. I did forget about Jaylen Brown, but I just remembered. So technically, I didn't forget. Under on his turnovers, 2.5. 2.5 on props.cash and 2.5 over on Prizepicks. There's also a mention if you're going to play Jaylen Brown, to stick to his points. So these are his turnovers. Minus 120 on the under. He's good for 2. Head-to-head matchup, not this season, against the Warriors. But seems to keep it pretty clean against the Warriors in those games. He is projected for 2.24, which is slightly over 2, but not over 2.5. Mention his points. 23.5 over on props.cash. You're getting it for 23.5 over on Prizepicks. So no value there. Projections, 22.7, so slightly under that. 2 games versus the Warriors last season, over 1, under 1. Over his last 10, he's gone over this 40% of the time. And then over his last 5, he's gone over this in 40% of the time as well. So they're just kind of like their coin flip on these points. PRA for Jaylen Brown, if you wanted to take a look at that, set to 32.5 on Prizepicks, 33 on the books. So we are getting it at a lower line over here. Doesn't change much in terms of his 5 games and 10 games, but it does give you better odds when this line is reduced at 32.5 versus 33.5. So take a look at his PRA versus the Warriors. That's also an option for you. All right, let's see here. Moving on. Jrue Holiday blocks and steal just got pulled too. Damn it. That was on the board for a while, though. That play was put on the board late last night. I would say about 10:30, maybe. And just got pulled off the board, so 12 hours it was on the board. That's a nice little shelf life for that kind of prop. So, yeah, I thought that was a good one. Hopefully it goes over. It only matters to me if it hits. Like, if it doesn't hit, then it's like nobody cares if it got pulled off the board. They saved you money if it got pulled off the board and it doesn't hit because you didn't play it. Hopefully it hits. I got it in 3 slips. So let me scroll back up. Let's see what we got going on here. Where did I leave off? Jaylen Brown. Let's see. They play the Warriors with no Draymond. Yeah, I mean, on props.cash, when we look up lines, if I take Draymond out, I don't even know. You know what? I might be talking out of my ass. Hold on. Yeah, because the sample size is so low for games versus the Warriors, at least on props.cash. When I pull Draymond out, there is no sample size. Pulling Draymond away from the Warriors is only gonna show for Warriors. So, for instance, if you want to take a look at Klay Thompson's points again, this is what he's done over his last 10. Let's take Draymond out the lineup. Doesn't change too much. So Klay Thompson at a 50% hit rate in 10 games played without Draymond Green. And then when we factor Draymond in, it actually got worse. So it went from 60% to 50%. But That's something else you can do on props.cash. You can toggle players in and out if you want to. Something that you can also do on props.cash is combo. So like when these combo props drop on Prizepicks, you can create your own combo and see what that point prop looks like, and then make your decision based off the lines. I've done this a couple of times, but I typically don't play combo props unless they're just getting really, really good odds. Or I might just take the under on a couple combo props because sometimes they get juiced up. Name value is everything in the NBA. People see LeBron James and Ja Morant combo prop, 70 points. Oh shit, Ja's gonna go off tonight. Over. Take the under on a lot of those combo props because a lot of these lines are created to play on your emotions, not facts and stats. Sometimes they're good lines, sometimes they're not. But if you were on props.cash, you can create your own combos and check out what those lines look like for Klay Thompson and Steph Curry combo prop. So I think we got through most of these plays. Anish, how can we forget Curry points? Curry going good against Celtics. We'll look up Curry too. Is it a jaw taco? Shut up. Ja Morant's rebounds got bumped up to 5. So again, makes you feel good. We're on the right track. We liked his rebounds, and so did everybody else. And there you go. We called it. All right. So I'm so glad this happened on the live stream. My conspiracy theorists out there, let's dish. Let's talk about this. So because I'm on the same logic that sometimes these lines are inflated to only bring them back down to where they should have been in the first place. And then it's like a re-gift. Somebody gives you a shitty Christmas present and you turn around and give it to somebody else and act like it's from the heart. That's kind of what this feels like. Shitty line, repackage it, ta-da. So now that Ja Morant's line has been dropped down to probably where it should have been in the first place, now it's at 20. Now it's at 20. To me, until we know what his minutes look like, this taco was on the board for how long? 3 hours and 23 minutes. An injury report, an update on something better come out within the next 3 hours and 20 minutes, because this to me is dependent on his playing time. Listen, Geno Smith was ruled active for yesterday's game and didn't play a damn down. Just because a player is back, just because a player is active, doesn't mean they're doing anything or doesn't mean they're doing a lot. What we should have been looking for is Geno Smith is starting tonight, or Geno Smith will take 40% of the snaps tonight. Ja Morant will play his full minute run tonight. Ja Morant will play 30 minutes tonight. Now we got confidence. Now we can say, oh, hell yeah. Now these props make a lot of sense or don't make sense. But until we get that news, honestly, this taco is up for 3 hours. It's not going anywhere. I'm not in a rush to play this shit. So there's Ja Morant's line, 20 and a half. Bump it up again. For what it's worth, over his last 10 games, this is going back into late last season. 4 out of those 10 games, a lot of these games probably you don't even want to look at, to be completely honest with you, because this is like around the time of all the allegations and all the stupid stuff that has to be taking a mental toll on the player. Like, this dude is not going out there playing to the best of his ability, knowing that he's got a suspension looming, knowing that he just broke the NBA law again. I don't care what anybody says. Like, these are human beings, and they have their flaws, and that's a lot to have on your plate and be expected to go out there and play basketball. So maybe some of these games were impacted by that. So again, we don't even really have a sample size for John Morant right now. If you want to take the over on this taco, you think it's such a good value, I don't have any problem with that. I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait a little longer. So, all right, let's see. I can't believe they did that shit. I can't believe they fucking made John Morant the taco. I think John Morant going to play active minutes, especially with the team losing anyway. I don't see them restricting. R. Skinner, welcome in. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here. I just seen the voting poll on Twitter. 26 losses last year, already at 19 this year. Yeah. How crazy would it be if they made a play-in tournament? Like, I mean, for the Memphis Grizzlies to make a play-in without Brandon Clark, without Steven Adams, basically without John Morant for the first half of the year. They lost Dillon Brooks. Say what you want about Dillon Brooks, but I don't think they'd be worse this year if he was still on the team. So, missing a lot of pieces. And if they were able to like make something out of this season, that will probably grab a ton of headlines at the end of the year. I hope John Morant doesn't win like most improved player or something like that. These are some of these awards are just like they're just like making shit up to give people, right? Like, oh, best shoes on a Tuesday night go to whoever. If they ever had a best cheerleader award, I think it should go to Thanasis Antetokounmpo. That dude jumps off the bench faster and higher than any player I've ever seen in my entire life. Anytime his brother does anything, I understand that that's like brotherly love, but your brother's like the best player in the NBA, basically. It's not a surprise. It's a little exaggerated. A little exaggerated. I think that cheerleader award should go to him, no doubt. All right, who we got? Who we got? I'm scrolling up. We're already at an hour and 30 minutes. Time flies. Having fun. Porzingis over turnovers. Robert Morris, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Dame has been a letdown, Mike. I just saw this Dame 3-point made. Maybe our expectations for Damian Lillard are too high. Like, but I guess you just expect, what he did in Portland to translate over to Milwaukee. And maybe he's on track based off the Milwaukee game plan. Maybe he's right where he needs to be. But from like a fantasy outlook, it's been a little disappointing at times. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Giannis is younger. Giannis is better. Giannis is a champion, MVP. So it wasn't like Dame was going to come in and take shit away from Giannis. Now, maybe Giannis is losing a little bit of usage rate, but I'm sure I think it was made very clear that Giannis is going to eat first in that offense. And Dame is going to eat, but not as much. So a little disappointing for Dame, to be honest with you. Holy crap. I'm looking at Porzingis as the turnovers here. It's like a step ladder. One, two, three. Literally, it's like, so he turns the ball over 5 times today. That's it. Over. There's more to it than that. But based off this game, log, this is what it looks like, right? He's going to turn the ball over 5 times and shit. He's like, oh, yeah, 1 turnover. I can top that. Next game. Oh, yeah, I can top that. Holy shit. But the odds are not projecting this to be a huge turnover game for Porzingis. So this is just even money. It's a pick 'em. It's a pick 'em, basically. Projections slightly in favor. Well, not even slightly. Projections have him getting you basically 2 turnovers. But, man, that is really – that's just crazy. I saw some unders for his PRA. But his PRA, when I was looking at it, was set to 28.5. There was some slight movement towards the under on that. It has now been dropped down to 27.5. So now at 27.5, it's a little better of a line. I wasn't really on any of his lines, to be honest with you, Porzingis. But, man, those turnovers are really, really hard to ignore for Porzingis. Jesus. All right. Curry 1 steal. Is that a line, Mike? Curry 1 steal. Let's see. Forgot about Malachi. I did, Darrell. We'll go Malachi. We'll go Curry steals, and then we might put a bow on this one. Malachi. All right. Let's run through Malachi's numbers here. Sorry. 12.5 point prop. Pretty much the same as Zach Collins. Gone over in 2 of his last 5, 3 of his last 10. Hooked it in this game right here. Without Wemby. 1 game without Wemby, only scored 10. This is all last season. Looks good, though. Over his last 10 games without Wembanyama, 2 rebounds in this game. I'm just going to unselect. Y'all hear that big engine car revving up in the background? That's just loud. Malachi Branham, rebounds. Coin flip on rebounds, 3.5. Can be a coin flip, though. It's at 3.5, so it's – I mean, yeah, I guess it could be a coin flip. 2 out of his last 10. Assists look good. Getting strong odds to the over here. However, I should have done this from the jump. Malachi Branham's numbers on Prizepicks. 12 points, 18.5 rebounds and assists, 15 rebounds and points, and then 15 points and assists. So we can look all this up real quick. So go back to those points. Now it's at 12. Makes it a little better. 2 out of his last 5 he's hit. 1 push or 1 hook. No, 1 push, and 2 unders. 50% hit rate. PRA, 17.5 over on Prizepicks. You're seeing it at 18.5. Oh, excuse me. 18.5 over on Prizepicks. So this is correct. He is capable. He does have a nice floor when given the opportunities in San Antonio, and without Wemby, you would assume that his usage will increase. So this is his upside, and then this is his floor. So Malachi without Wemby, no sample size. Just don't have the sample size to dig into. 15 points and assists. Okay, you're getting this at a lower line. Again, goes over PRA, he's going to go over PA. He goes over PRA, he's going to go over PR. So just keep in mind, you're getting this at a flat number on Prizepicks at 15 for both PR and PA. There is more upside because you have 3 possible outcomes with these lines, and 2 of them are positive. You have a push, you have an over, which is a win, and then you have the under, which is your loss. If you wanted to play the under, you got 3 possible outcomes, and 2 of them are positive. You go under, and he goes under. You go under, and he pushes, and that's not a loss. And then he goes over, and that's a loss. So either way you look at it, these flat numbers offer you a little bit more protection, more chance to not lose versus more chance to win. So yeah, there's Malachi Branham for you right there. He only has 4 lines pulled up on Prizepicks. We went through his points, PRA, PA, and PR today. All right. Just realized I wasn't sharing my tab. All right. Sorry about that. PA. I'll just repeat it. 15. 15. This is his upside. This is his floor. And then on his PR, you're getting it at 15 as well. This is his upside. This is his floor. So yeah, more protection on the flat numbers, getting it at a slightly lower line. Usage rate should increase. I don't know by how much, but without Wemby, it should increase. So there's Malachi's 4 lines, points, PR, PA, and then PRA as well. All right. Steph points. Porzingis. What's going on, Garrett? I like that. I like that. Porzingis. What was I going to look up? Steph points. All right. We'll look up Steph points. That might do it, though. That might do it for the stream. Porzingis. Saw 39 at first. I was like, what? Take the under on that shit. You don't need me to look that up. At 39 points. I mean, he probably could. He definitely can go for 40 anytime he laces up his Under Armours. But that's a super high line. So 29 is all right. 29 is easier to talk about. 50% hit rate in his last 10 games. Excuse me, 40% hit rate in his last 10, 40 in his last 5. Head-to-head matchup with the Celts. Again, none to speak of this season. 1-1 on the year. We can do the whole Draymond thing, though. So let's say Draymond out. Remember, 40% hit rate with Draymond in. 40% hit rate with Draymond out. I guess looking at the year gives us a better. Was that we were looking at the year? Yeah, they're the same. They're the same. So there's no difference here. All right, so he's averaging 26 points without Draymond in the lineup, which makes sense. I mean, say what you want about Draymond Green, but his impact on the game, especially the offensive side of the game, is huge. A lot of Curry's points are scored off of plays, ran with he and Draymond. So it makes sense, It does put the ball in Curry's hands a little bit more, but when the ball's in his hands, he can't create. I mean, he can shoot anywhere on the court, but without the ball, he is so good at moving without the ball. And Draymond does such a great job at finding him and setting him up. And there's nobody right now to replace that. So while we want to look at his points and say, shit, no, Draymond, Curry's going to go off, it might be Klay Thompson going off tonight. It might be Andrew Wiggins going off tonight. I'm just kidding. Andrew Wiggins is never going off. I tried to hold a straight face as long as I could, but it might be Steph Curry. It might be Klay Thompson. In all seriousness, it might be Klay Thompson going off tonight. So, but his points are in play. I mean, you're getting slight juice to the over here. 40% hit rate. Draymond in is better. Draymond out, not so good. Projections don't look all that great, but don't base your decision making solely on projections. The odds are important. Opponent is important. He does have that 32 upside against the Celtics. So there you go. This is for me going to be a really fun game to watch, just because I'm a Celtics fan and I am a Curry fan, but I'm more importantly, I'm just like a good basketball game fan. I like good basketball. Fuck blowouts. I hate blowouts, but I hope this game is a good competitive game. These are really fun. Last game on the night, right? One of the last games on the night. So great way to end the night, Warriors and Celtics. So, all right, there's Curry right there. Let's see. I think we're good. Divine, welcome in. Just as we're about to just as we're about to end the stream, but I appreciate you stopping by. Anyway, let's see. Poor Skinner, our Skinner. I would take the under. I think Jason will be in takeover mode with no Draymond in his head. That's a good point. That's a good point. This is a prime opportunity for Jason Tatum to once again stamp his name on something. Takeover mode for Jason Tatum. So it is possible. It is possible. All right. I tell you what isn't possible. These live streams are not possible without you. I so appreciate y'all stopping by, hanging out with me, talking some player props over on Prizepicks. We briefly touched on the NFL player props. Not a whole lot going on, but again, Matthew Stafford over touchdown passes on underdog is in play. If they bring that back on Prizepicks at 1.5, that is an over. Matthew Stafford over interception or under interception. If we get some demons for his receivers, if we get a Cooper Kupp demon touchdown prop or a Puka Nacua demon touchdown prop, take the over. Taking the under on Matthew Stafford's interceptions so they correlate, because Prizepicks will not allow you to take the over on passing yards or quarterback touchdown prop and the over on the demon. It's not going to give you the same payout boost. So that's a way to work around that. Take the under on the interceptions and take the over on the demon for the receivers. But we'll see what Prizepicks release later. But if you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Consider subbing up to the channel. I hope this live stream helped you with your researching process and helped you build a couple slips out today. Drop a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you like. Consider sharing this video, sharing my channel with somebody you know. And last but not least, I don't care what player props you roll with. I don't care what YouTube channel you watch. I just hope these lines respect the damn coin. You know what I'm about to say. Best of luck to you all. And until my next NBA, NFL player prop video, live stream, whatever, Chavez is out.